On a chilly morning in late February, mist hung low over the still waters of a rural lake nestled in the countryside of northern Vietnam. The world seemed hushed, the only sound a gentle lapping of water and the occasional rustling of reeds. Walking along the narrow path by the shore was Lynn, a young woman who had recently returned to her hometown after years of living in the city. She came to the lake each morning, seeking peace and reflection. That morning, however, peace was interrupted by a faint splash followed by frantic movement in the water. Squinting through the mist, Lynn spotted a small, dark shape struggling near the reeds. As she rushed closer, her heart sank. It was a tiny hedgehog, soaked to the skin, trembling and barely able to stay afloat. Without hesitation, she knelt down, gently scooped the little creature into her scarf, and cradled it to her chest. Back at her modest wooden home nearby, Lynn dried the hedgehog carefully and prepared a warm nest from hay and soft cloth in a corner of her kitchen. She offered it food, crushed fruit and soaked cat biscuits, and whispered soothing words as she sat beside it. The hedgehog remained motionless for hours, its breathing shallow. But by evening, it lifted its head weakly and blinked at her. It was the first fragile step toward survival. Over the next several weeks, Lynn devoted herself to caring for the creature. She named her Swang, meaning dew. For the morning they met, Swang gradually grew stronger. Her eyes, once dull with exhaustion, began to sparkle with curiosity. She would scurry between the furniture, snuffle around Lynn's bookshelves, and even curl up beside the heater on cold nights. Then, one bright spring morning in early April, as sunlight filtered softly through the kitchen window, Lynn noticed something unusual in the quiet corner where Swang often rested. There, nestled in a cocoon of hay and old socks, lay Swang, but she was not alone. Curled tightly around her were several tiny, pinkish hedgehog babies, barely the size of Lynn's thumb. Lynn stood frozen, overwhelmed by emotion. The little creature she had rescued from the edge of death was now a mother, and not just surviving, but nurturing new life. A quiet tear slid down her cheek. In that moment, her kitchen no longer felt like just a place for meals and chores. It had become a sanctuary, a home where a fragile bond of trust had blossomed into something extraordinary. From a chance encounter on a cold lakeside morning had come a new beginning, not just for a hedgehog, but for a whole family. And for Lynn, the experience reaffirmed something she had nearly forgotten in her years away: that compassion, no matter how small the act, can ripple outward and create warmth where none seemed possible.